Share some tips on how you maintain your status as the master of cameo denials. Yeah, it's so funny, like, that's a thing to be known for. It's like, yeah, good liar. And if I can provide inspiration for others, then I'm happy to in whatever way I'm able. Hello, hi. I'm Andrew Garfield. I'm here with Esquire, and I'm doing a segment with them called Explain This. It's been a while since I've spoken to a camera as myself, so good luck, everyone. They're asked me to explain about Spider-Man, of course. It's like classic, and then like everything begins, like the top line of my obituary. So yeah, how did you approach making the character your own, Andrew? Let me answer that as succinctly and pithily as I can. I came to playing the character with a lot of fandom in my blood. I'm just a huge fan of that character. I've said it countless times. As long as I honored the kind of essence of the character, I got to bring my soul, or because I think in every single Spider-Man fan there lives that particular spider soul. So I was just like, okay, just let my Spider-Man soul come through. Whatever that's meant to be, I can't judge. I just gotta let it rip. That wasn't succinct or pithy. So I'm being asked about my reaction when I found out that all three of us, me, Toby, and Tom, were going to be in No Way Home. I thought, Toby's not going to want to do that. Toby, will act every 10 years, much to my chagrin. And I've shared that with him. And then when I heard that he was kind of leaning in, I was like, this is going to be the greatest thing in the world, or the worst thing in the world. But I'm so grateful, because it was honestly the most joyful thing ever, and all the pressure was on Tom. Me and Toby could just come in and be like, oh, we're going to do it. We're going to come in and be like, everyone's going to be happy to see us. And then we could just kind of like disappear like ghosts. It was the best. Describe working with Florence Pugh as a scene partner in We Live in Time. I love Florence as a human and as an actor. I think she's so supremely talented, and thank God we had a good time together and we got along. Because yeah, you read the script and you're like, oh my God, and we're not gonna do a chemistry read. We're both being cast. Okay, we're just gonna figure out if we can do this together and have a nice time. It just superseded all my expectations. I think in the first 2 days, I think we both went, okay, we're gonna be okay. It's so nice when something so heavy can feel actually like you're doing it. It's pleasurable when you can dive into a scene in a way that it doesn't cost you, it actually fills you up. That catharsis, like proper concept of catharsis. And I think we managed to do that together a lot during this film in those scenes. And you'll see when you see the film, there's a lot of beauty, and there's a lot of healing, and there's a lot of anger, and there's a lot of grief, and there's a lot of joy. And it's like the idea in this life is that you only get to go as high as you go low. There's this obsession with ascension, but ascension without descent is Icarus. And I think we all know what happened to that one. Good. Dish on your past roommates. The messiest, the cleanest, the wildest. I didn't live with these people. They all lived with each other, and I was down the street. I can imagine who the messiest would have been. And Jamie, absolutely, 100% Jamie Dornan. Eddie is a pretty orderly guy. Charlie, I feel like could go one of two ways. I have roomed with Charlie. Funnily enough, when I was shooting the latest Spider-Man film in Atlanta, and Charlie was shooting as well with me, he had a couple of scenes as well, and we had to hide, but we were there together, so like people couldn't know we were in Atlanta, and a DoorDash guy recognized me on my first night. I'm like, oh, fucked it. Immediately fucked it. And he immediately tweeted, oh yeah, I just delivered food to Andrew Garfield in his house. That motherfucker was rude as hell. But in fact, all I was trying to do is be like, you're not allowed to see my face. He was asking me for my ID, even though I hadn't ordered alcohol. And he literally tweeted like, I think I just delivered that motherfucker rude. And I'm like, oh no, now everyone thinks I'm rude, and they know I'm in Atlanta. It's a double fucking, I just blew it on multiple levels. This kind of shit happens to me. Andrew Garfield once crashed a star-studded party thrown by Prince before he was famous. That's true. Explain. I was in LA, and I was waiting to hear if I got my first film part in a film called Lions for Lambs. Robert Redford, Meryl Streep, Tom Cruise, Michael Pena, Derek Luke. And I auditioned, got a recall, and then I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. My manager at the time said, hey, it's the Golden Globes party tonight. Come with me as my guest. And he's like, go to H&M. Treat yourself to a $40 suit. And I went in there and I was trying on this suit, and I got a call from my agent, my manager, and I was like, okay. And it was like, you got the part. And it was like my first movie. So I was able to go out and feel like I actually semi-belonged. Like I was like, I'm making a movie. Hey Prince, I'm making a movie. And I was in line for the toilet, and Selma Hayek and Penelope Cruz were behind me. And I was like, hey, I'm making a movie, guys. I get to go to this toilet too. I wasn't like that. I was like, those are the two most beautiful women I've ever seen. I have to crawl into the corner. And I vomited in that toilet. And then Penelope Cruz and Selma Hayek came in after me. But it's a cool story for Esquire. Explain this. Which of all your characters would you most want to sit down for a meal with, and why? John Larson. I think John Larson. I think Jonathan Larson. I would... Oh, God, but also Desmond Doss. And Eduardo Saverin. No, I can't. I think John, because I just feel like I just want to give him a hug. But also with Desmond, anyway. Go-to karaoke song, Boyz II Men, End of the Road. Disco 2000 by Pulp was a new one as well. I have a band with some of my old school friends, and we're called the Shangles. Look us up. We're pretty big in Sweden. We're working on some pretty interesting right now. We're working on some weird We're taking some Bugsy Malone songs and trying to make them sexier. I wish I was joking. What did you, Carey and Keira Knightley, do on your days off to lighten the mood after filming such heavy scenes during the week for Never Let Me Go? We had a lot of fun. There was one night, though, where we did have dinner together at the hotel we were staying at, the three of us. And of course, I had a really severe allergic reaction to something at dinner. And of course, I had to go to hospital with two of the most talented, beautiful British actresses in the history of the game. That's Garf. That's a Garf move. That's a full Garf move. What's your favorite Luca Guadagnino film? Yeah, so I'm doing a film with Julia Roberts, who may be the sweetest woman I've ever met. Terrifying. Like how generous and kind and inclusive and just wants to create a cozy, beautiful, loving home atmosphere on set. And it's an intense film, like the story is really intense. And Luca I love so much. I can name 3 films of Luca's that would be some of my favorite films of all time. Like Call Me By Your Name, I think, is the most tender, the most beautiful, full of longing, and I think Timothy is just so exquisite in it, and Michael Stuhlbarg is so exquisite in it. A Bigger Splash may be one of my top Luca films. It's just so sexy and thrilling and suspenseful and radical. And then of course Challengers recently I thought was just a riot, and I was just like literally on the edge of my seat. He's a master of the unconscious, psychology, suspense, camp. He's a radical creative person that I'm just so grateful exists right now. So, what can you tell us about The Magic Faraway Tree? Did you read Enid Blyton's books as a kid? So there's The Magic Faraway Tree is a film that I'm currently shooting, hence why my hair is quite big and my beard is quite big. And the books that I read of hers were the famous 5 books. Her other famous books were the Magic Faraway Tree books, which I actually wasn't read as a child and I didn't read as a child. So I was introduced to them through this script that Simon Farnaby, who wrote the Paddington films, adapted. And I felt like I was reading something that I needed as a child, that I still need as an adult. It's very, very soulful, and it's all about reconnecting with nature, our nature, each other. It's really about a rewilding. Oh, God, I'm building it up too much. But whatever, I feel very, very excited about it. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. Hopefully we can make it a beautiful film, and I think we can. What do you feel about a sequel to The Social Network? I think anything that Aaron does is going to be really, really powerful and interesting, and if he's feeling drawn to a subject, you know there's going to be some juice in it. And so I'd be excited. I don't imagine I'd be a part of it, because I think Eduardo is just living off his billions in Singapore. Life choices. People think Eduardo got f***ed over, but he's a billionaire in Singapore. And I'm sitting here sweating, talking shit about myself to a bunch of fucking strangers that don't deserve my truth. No, I'm just kidding. I'm happy to share what I'm sharing. You don't know my truth. But you love you guys. What's your biggest takeaway as an actor after working with David Fincher? Look at him. He's such a beautiful man. He's such a kind, generous, decent man. Everyone says, oh, he does so many takes. I'm like, hell yeah, he does. I love it. Nothing worse as an actor to go home at the end of the day going, oh, fuck, I should have done this, or I should have tried that, or that could have been that could have been. And I inevitably do that. Not with David, because he did 100 fucking takes. This is a bit of a weird, vulnerable story to tell, but you know, like all the Oscar stuff and like the awards campaign, it was my first time ever that had been a thing that people were saying to me. And a lot of the chat was, "You're definitely gonna get nominated." And I'm like, "Are you serious? That's fucking nuts. What? Really? Ah." And then it didn't happen. I wasn't nominated for the Oscar, and the first person that called me after the nominations came out was David. And without saying anything, he started listing all of his favorite performances that never got nominated for Academy Awards. I was just like, you didn't need to do that, man. But the fact that you did just speaks to him as a sensitive, gentle, good dad. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good dad move. Having his approval over anything else meant the world to me. Explain how it feels to speak Aaron Sorkin's dialogue. Do you have a favorite line from The Social Network? I mean, like, you know, it's like working with one of our great playwrights, you know, it's heaven. I think my favorite line in The Social Network was one of the Winklevoss twins says something like, "We're not Cobra Kai and we're not chasing Daniel LaRusso in a skeleton costume." And I was just like, oh my God, the reference and the way it's delivered and it's just like exquisite. What is it that draws you to films like We Live in Time that are guaranteed to make audiences sob? Well, it's not a guarantee, because some people are absolutely heartless. And you know who you are. But this is so sweet. I'm not trying to make everyone cry, but I think actually maybe I am, actually. Especially men. So there's like men don't cry. There's like boys don't cry, but men do. Do you know what I mean? That's it. That's a lot. I just gave you a lot. Probably too much. Be gentle with me. In the comments, like, subscribe, hit, you know, isn't that a thing that people do now? Hit it, smash that like button or whatever.